Hello, welcome to Old Nerds Bookstore Closing Haul. A favorite bookstore of mine closed. Well, will be closing here in a few days. But for the entire month of July, they had big sales, getting rid of everything because they're closing down. It's pretty sad for me. It's a bookstore that's been around since I was a kid. It opened in the mid 1980s. I had a cousin who used to get his weekly books from there, and anytime we'd go and visit family, I'd try and get there. And as I got older and got a driver's license, I could get there more often. But the owner passed away, and the family is not going to continue it, so they're getting rid of everything. I don't believe anybody is interested in purchasing it and carrying on the store. So it was pretty sad to walk out of there for the last time after almost 40 years. Well, it probably was about 40 years that it was open altogether. So I've been visiting it for well over half of my life, and it's always been there. And the bookstore was always a big reason for me to go visit family. Not, I mean, I wanted to visit my family, of course, but uh, I was always really excited to go visit this bookstore while I was there. And it was a comic shop first and foremost, but then they had all kinds of used books. And so for closing, for the final sale, used books were 75% off. And let's go through this big old shopping bag here and see what I got. Now, I did get some comics. I did the comics in a previous video. I didn't get very many. I got some old, not some old. I got some current Conan's, Savage Sword of Conan magazines, and comics were 50% off. But used books were 75% off. And here we go. Let's go through here. So Clifford D. Simak, The Werewolf Principle. This one was $7, but it's in really nice condition. Doesn't look like it's ever been read. I don't know this book. I've heard of it. When people talk about Simak, you hear this name tossed around. But very nice condition. Clifford Simak. This just looked cool. I love this cover artwork. No idea who Kathleen Sky is. Almost sounds like maybe a Native American author. Kathleen Sky with the last name Sky. And it seems like it's her blood sang with the power of two mighty races. Which name? So I'm wondering if this author is a Native American. Kind of seems that way. But again, this one seems like it hasn't been read. And that one was $2, so that ended up being what, 50 cents. I got a couple of Michael J. Stackpoles. These are part of a series. I don't know if there's more than just these two. A Secret Atlas and Cartomancy. These are about explorers and old maps, I guess. I'm not sure. Michael J. Stackpole, or Michael A. Stackpole, I'm sorry. I know of him through his work on Star Wars, the EU. I think he did a bunch of X-Wing books for the Star Wars novel universe. And people really talk highly of Michael A. Stackpole. So when I saw those and they just look cool, I grabbed them. Here's a Bob Shaw book. What's this? The Ragged Astronauts. That just looks cool. It's an airship. So you know this is probably a little steampunky. Great old Bane book. Not in bad shape. But again, a 50 center. Here's another Simak, Where the Evil Dwells. This one was only $3. Again, pretty nice condition. That's my favorite thing to see on the spine is the Del Rey logo up there on top. Here is Sterling A. Lanier, The Unforsaken Hero. This, I believe, is a sequel to a book he wrote called Hero's Journey, and you see the spelling of hero. Again, does not look like it's seen a lot of use. Definitely a little crease there, but otherwise was well taken care of. Spider Robinson, the Callahan Touch. I'm trying to grab some Spider Robinson when I see him. You don't see these very often out in the wild. I don't know if Spider Robinson is a collectible author or what, but very seldom do I run across any Spider Robinson. Christopher Stasheff, Milady Witch. This is part of his Warlock series of books. I don't have this one. I have several of Stasheff's Warlock books. I have a couple in book club edition that collect several of the Warlock books. So this must have come out later. Here's a Peter David book, Psyman. I have one other Peter David Psyman novel in my collection. So I think there's a couple of these. And at this point, I may have like number 2 and number 3. This one's numbered number 3. So I think I have number 2 and 3. So I'll have to keep my eye open for the first one. Gregory Keyes, A Calculus of Angels. So I already had the book that comes before this, Newton's Canon. And I stumbled across this while I was going through, and I grabbed it up. So now I have book 2 of The Age of Unreason. Here's another Peter David, Sir Apropos of Nothing. This book, I think, is the first of a short series that he did. I forget what the next book is called, but I already had the next book. So I believe this is the first one. And so now I've got at least 2. I don't know if there's more than just the 2 in that series. Here's another Bob Shaw, Medusa's Children. Again, in very nice condition. Bain Books. Radioactive. Oh, I got a couple of these. Radioactive Redhead and the Sapphire Sirens. I have 1 or 2 others from this series by John Zakor, and they're all similarly titled. They're kind of like sci-fi noir, I guess, retro sci-fi noir, and they all have titles that allude to a femme fatale's hair color. So that's a cool series. Haven't read them yet, but it looks cool. Melanie Ron, I got one of her books, her bricks, I should say. These things are huge. I have a few other Melanie Rons in my collection already. This is part of a series called Exiles. This is volume 2. But I have some of her other series, and all of her books are bricks. John DeChancy, Bride of the Castle. John DeChancy has this series of books. There's probably at least a half a dozen of them. The Castle series, Castle for Rent, Castle Murders. I have several of them. I did not have this one though. Love that cover. It's so great. H. Rider Haggard, Wisdom's Daughter. I hear a little bit about H. Rider Haggard on Booktube here and there. The booktubers that talk about old fantasy and sci-fi. Have never read H. Rider Haggard, but definitely interested. I got a couple H. Rider Haggards. So Wisdom's Daughter, Morning Star. That's a great cover too. And The Wanderer's Necklace. Another awesome cover. These ones are a little rougher, a little older, but still cool. Geary Gravel, Key for the Nonsuch. Don't know what this one is. I think I have one other Geary Gravel in my collection, and I can't remember the name of it. Here's a Lester Del Rey. These reprints came out from Del Rey, Ballantine, whatever. I have a couple other of his books. I think these are like young reader books. These are more for like early teenage boys, I think. This one's in pretty nice shape, so that'll be a nice addition. And also, Lester Del Rey, The 11th Commandment. This one may not be one of the young readers that he did. I'm not sure. We shall see. All right, getting down to the bottom of this bag. Let's see if I can dig these final paperbacks out. John Jakes, The Planet Wizard. Which would decide the fate of Galaxy 2, sorcery or science? Oh, it almost looks like a Frazetta cover, doesn't it? But it's D.F. Jones. What's it? Jones? I can't remember. I can't remember his full name. I wonder if it says in here. Cover art. Probably not. Cover art. Jeff Jones. That's it. Jeff Jones. He was a very popular fantasy illustrator back in the day. I think he did some comics too. There's another John Jakes. Same book, different printing. Have to decide which one I want to keep. And we've got Steve Clapper, Agents of Insight. So this looks like a sci-fi private eye book. Can't resist them. That's just such a cool blend of old film noir and science fiction, and even like a futuristic haunted house in the background. It's so cool. He looks like he's in a cemetery. What a great cover. This is going to be a fun one to read, I suspect. Know nothing about it, but it looks like it'll be fun. Stephen F. Hickman, The Lemurian Stone. I couldn't pass this one up. Great cover. Pretty good shape. Only 50 cents after the discount. The Lemurian Stone. So Lemuria is one of the ancient civilizations that kind of like Atlantis. So I love that kind of thing. So this should be cool. And final paperback, Thrice Upon a Time by James P. Hogan. Great cover. That's the kind of cover I like. I love when they sci-fi private eye is one thing, and the mix of computer and fantasy was kind of a thing too. And I don't know if anybody's come up with a clever name for that yet, but this looks like another example of that. So that looks great. Now, everything else is book club editions. I love collecting book club editions. I have a shelf full of them at the moment, and this will probably finish off the shelf, and we'll have no more room on the shelf that I have my book club editions on. Down Below Station by C.J. Sherry. I just listened to a booktuber talk about this book, and when I got there at the bookstore, saw this in the section of book club editions. I grabbed it. It was $5, so 75% off of $5. I can't do the math that fast, but that was a good buy. Here's another Sherry, The Faded Sun. These are all in really nice condition. I love these book club editions. Here's Frederick Pohl and Jack Williamson, Star Child Trilogy. See this a lot in bookstores. Not this particular edition, but the Star Child trilogy of books. You'll see bits and pieces of them a lot. But I can't shut up about how much I love these book club editions. So that's pretty cool. The original owner. Put a sticker in there and put his name on it. Probably belonged to the book club. Here's a Frederick Pohl. Let me get these out of the way. Gateway. Now that is some great cover art right there. Boris Vallejo. Is that who that is? Boris? Or is it just Boris? I'm not sure. Will it tell us in here, do you think? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Nope, not going to tell us. But great cover artwork nonetheless. Coils, Fred Saberhagen and Roger Zelazny. I've never heard of this, but that's two outstanding names in the field of sci-fi and fantasy working on a novel together. And this has a very nice dust jacket art. Don't know what this one's about, but it's going to look great on my book club edition shelf. And last but not least of my book haul, Frederick Pohl, Beyond the Blue Event Horizon, book club edition. So this is a spellbinding sequel to Gateway. I wonder if I have Gateway already somewhere. I'll have to look. Very cool, though. So there it is. I'm going to have to pull back so you can see all this a little bit better. There it is. There's the book haul. The bookstore that I got all these from is called Books Galore in Erie, Pennsylvania. Like I said, been there for 40 years, closing down now because the owner passed away. Very sad, but yeah, they're just selling off their stock, closing down. Very sad. Very sad. It's not going to Erie won't be the same anymore. I probably won't have much desire to go to Erie anymore. But my family likes going up there. There's a really great mall up there and a lot of shopping. So for back to school trips, it's probably the place to go still. But it just won't be the same without Books Galore. Anyway, anybody watching know of any of these books? Got any insight on any of them? Please comment down below. Please share this video with other Booktube type people, and give me a like. Subscribe if you haven't. I also do a series on this channel where I read my Marvel Comics collection in publishing date order. I read an issue, do a video on it, publish it, and I'm currently in 1977. So, if any of that sounds good, please subscribe. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.